Hey there, Internet. Welcome to the Hard On Gear channel, where I discuss and review my used and abused knives and gear.
Okay, Paramilitary 2, how you doing today? And in case you haven't noticed, viewers of the Hog channel, we're doing something a little bit different because I have a lack of my normal filming setup, so I'm going to try and do a few of these quick, little zoomed-in tabletop videos with my little tripod here while I'm on base, just to try and keep the content up. But yeah, this is going to be just a probably 5 to 10 minute video talking about the Paramilitary 2 and how I have come to like it as much as I do. Because if you watch my unboxing video probably close to a year ago now, maybe 10 months ago, I was like happy with it, but it still wasn't my favorite knife. It still definitely wasn't something I was carrying in my pocket or planned on carrying in my pocket all the time. But yeah, over the course of the last 10 months, I have come to love this thing quite a bit, and this has been one of my most carried folders of the last year, depending on the circumstances. So most of the time, with the Paramilitary 2, if I'm carrying this, it's probably going to be in gym shorts or joggers, sweatpants, something like that. A little bit of a lighter pant or undergarment that basically I don't want to have my knife pulling my pants down on me, and this thing weighs all of it, maybe 2.3 ounces, 2.5 ounces, something along those lines. So very light knife, very unnoticeable in the pocket, especially like I'm wearing mostly like black shorts, dark jeans, stuff like that. It tends to blend quite well. In a pair of gym shorts, you do not know it's there. And even squatting, like I'll squat, deadlift, do all kinds of stuff with this, and won't even notice it's there most of the time. So while I'm on training right now, we were in between courses, just finished up basic training, going on to infantry school here shortly. You will kind of spend a lot of your time in PT strip or sweatpants or something outside of working hours. And during the day, when I'm in my like combat pants or whatever, typically I'll be carrying this or the Pacific Salt 2, which I've been carrying a lot. Black pocket clip, so it does blend decently well with the cap hat camouflage stuff. But the knife itself obviously is a little bit louder, a little bit brighter, and the stainless steel, the LC200N, is quite shiny and reflective. So obviously not a very good tactical knife, but as far as a work knife for regular day-to-day military stuff, pretty happy with this. Completely waterproof, rust-proof with the LC200N. No internal hardware or anything like that that's really going to rust. I think the only thing they say that's not completely like impervious to rust on this is probably the screws once the paint starts to wear off of them. So pretty freaking handy, solid work knife, low maintenance, all good in my books. So Paramilitary 2 has been carried a lot in shorts. It's still a very nice, easy, light carry, but it is quite long, a little bit larger profile than the Paramilitary 2, if you can see that there. I gotta get used to filming on this tiny little table surface here. But yeah, a little bit of a size difference. Yeah, not even that bad when you put it next to each other, but you do feel the difference in your hand and in your pocket. Of course, one of the knives that's kind of in the rotation here is the Mannix 2, although I am starting to, after carrying these a lot more, and even something like the Benchmade Freak in M4 here, all fairly light knives, all 2 to 3 ounces, right around that area. The Mannix 2 is 5 ounces, and is a noticeable difference when you're carrying this thing around your pocket. Less so if you're in jeans or work pants or something like that, but it's noticeable enough that I could definitely see myself going the Gideon's tactical route and getting the Mannix 2 lightweight, which I believe is closer to the weight of these guys. Basically the same knife, different steel. You've got FRN handle scales instead of GRN or FRN, or you know what I'm saying there, sorry. FRN or GRN instead of the G10 handle scales, and the blade is, I think the standard one comes in BDN1, which is not bad, a little bit softer, but still nothing wrong with BDN1 from what I've read. Am I saying that right? Is that the right letter combination? So many damn steels out there. And I think you can get the other versions in like S30, S90. There's a bunch of specialty versions, but I'm blanking. I feel like there's another standard version you can get the lightweight in, but there's all kinds of color combinations and steel combinations and stuff if you search around, especially in the secondary market for the limited editions and stuff like that. But regardless, Mannix 2 has not been getting as much time, partially because of the weight, although I do carry it still once in a while as my main folder, and it's certainly not lost its touch as far as being an ergonomic king. And you can see it definitely has all kinds of wear because I don't really clean my blades off too well. Some of that is, yeah, adhesive, and some of that is just scratching. But that Mannix 2, getting less pocket time now that I'm doing this because that pocket clip is so shiny. I don't really want that standing out. I wore it for about a week with my like camouflage, combat pants and uniform and all that, and it's it's shiny. It is very shiny. So even more so now than ever, I can see myself switching to the black on black versions of most of these knives, or at least getting aftermarket black pocket clips for a lot of them. Tactical does actually have its purpose. It's not just to look cool when you're not in the military. So that's kind of where I'm at right now. These two are getting most of the carry. The Freak is getting a lot of carry too, but since I got the Paramilitary 2, after I went home for leave for a little bit, came back with this, I've been carrying this way more than I expected. It's a little more dainty. I've got that one chip here in the blade. We can barely even see it right now. Yeah, so it's right towards the tip. Yeah, if I turn the light a little bit, you can see it. Right there about, yeah, right below my thumb here. Only a half an inch, not even away from the tip. So I did that the first couple months that I had it. I'm not sure what I was cutting, maybe like hit a staple or something through some cardboard. Now, other than that, the blade's pretty much untouched. I've only ever stropped this thing. Now, I've stropped it many, many times already in the last year. It'll need a touch up on the sharpening stones, or at least right now, I've got the Work Sharp Field Sharpener as my main sharpening tool. But the edge has held up well. S30V is awesome. I've become a big fan of it, definitely, since I've owned it in the last couple years here, and I can see why it is pretty much the #1 standard stainless steel for most folding knives. Yeah, you can see that nick a little bit better in that camera angle. Yeah, they're not a big issue. I don't really notice it. It's towards the tip, so when I'm slicing with the belly, it doesn't really hang up or anything. As far as the handle and the ergonomics, I get a little scratching on the handle scales, not a big deal. I like the look of wear. Pocket clip has started to wear quite a bit, but like I said, it's not my daily carry, so if it was, you'd probably see this pocket clip not be black anymore. But so far, holding up really well. The screws, did I lose a screw on this one? No, the Manix 2. I did lose a pocket clip screw on the Manix 2, so I've got to be careful of that. You can get away with 2. You definitely don't want to try and get away with 1. You'll have a swinging pocket clip. The ergonomics, that's the other thing I want to talk about with this. It's better than what I would have thought. Then not to say that all the reviews and stuff aren't super good for the Paramilitary 2, but going from the Manix 2, which is just, it feels so amazing in the hand. It's built for my hand, built so well. That and like say the big and beefy 8015. This one actually, if every knife was built to fit in my hand just about perfect, it's the 8015. Doesn't have the same ergonomic profile and scalloping, all the fancy knife terms for shaping knives. What I'm getting at here is both these knives are bigger, chunkier, beefier, full-handled, fill out the hand kind of knives. And the Paramilitary 2 is just so tiny by comparison. It doesn't look that tiny, but it does feel small in the hand. But they do a great job at making this actually fit well, and I feel like, well, probably top 5 most comfortable knives in my hand at this point would be the, at folding knives at least, would be the the Paramilitary 2 for sure. So if you're used to bigger knives, give this thing some time to grow on you. It is a classic for the reason that, it is a classic for a reason, and that reason is that they pretty much nailed just about everything to be able to meet most people's needs. It's not the best at almost anything except slicing. It's a really friggin' good slicer, but it's like a solid 80% across the board. Hard use, meh. But the compression lock will hold up compared to a lot of things. Really hard use wise, the biggest concern I would have is breaking the tip off, because this is a very thin, slicey knife. When I carry this, if you know me or my videos at all, you'll know that I'm pretty much always carrying at least a folder and a fixed blade, probably a Swiss Army knife or maybe a Leatherman or something on me as well. But I like to have something a little bit beefier, like the SE Azula 2 or the Topsmell Spy Elite are like my 2 most common carried EDC fixed blades. Both thick blade stock, pretty damn capable if you needed to bust something down that you shouldn't be busting down with a knife. Let's say you had to, heard a few good stories. You're my boy Blue on Instagram told me that I've seen it a few times on Instagram on his and through our chats about his needing to open up a car door with a Azula 2. So things can be done with knives that you shouldn't necessarily do. They just need to be the right knife. So I like to have the thin slicey stuff. This stays pretty sharp, and that's why I haven't had to sharpen it on a stone yet in almost a year. It's pretty much just for crazy slicey little paper tasks and stuff like that. And slice some cardboard and paracord, zip ties, things like that. But generally speaking, this thing is a slicer that stays in the pocket and goes back in once that stuff's done and gets stropped up within a few days. These, these things can take a beating. If I had to baton or do anything like that, I'd like to have something like this on me almost at all times, which is why I do. So other than that, if I'm only going out with, say, one knife for whatever reason, let's say I'm going out to a pub, bar, something along those lines, because of Canada's knife laws and the way things are, I try not to carry, like, say, the Tor Anaconda or anything too tactical or antagonistic, we'll say, if you were a cop or whatever. Just, I know, I can get away with it. I do carry this thing quite a bit, but there's certain situations where if you had to explain why you were carrying it in a court case and whatever, I just rather not have that conversation. These knives work just as well as the Anaconda does for most tasks. And but yeah, if I'm only going out for one knife, I like the paramilitary too, but it's just too dainty. I'm probably going to be carrying something like the M4 Freak, which has got a lot more belly and a lot more of a sturdy edge, and the M4 Steel will hold up to a lot more. Or like the 8015, which is by itself almost too thick. It's not slicey really at all. Full flat grind, big belly. It does cut well, but it's not. When you try to slice next to one of these slicier knives, not even in the same ballpark. So I do like having this one, but alone, if I'm only carrying that, I like to have a slicier fixed blade on me. See, like even the Cans Bowl from Mora here, it's one of their slicier models, and right now this thing is, yeah, laser beam sharp. But this has been my main field knife for work here since I got in the calf, and used it, sharpened it, love it. Big fan, even more so than the Garberg right now, just because this is lighter and it is slicier, but it does have that thicker belly at the bottom. Gives me the ability to still do some harder bushcraft stuff, but then do some slicier stuff, get into some nooks and crannies and all that if I need to. Don't know when I'd be getting into nooks and crannies with this knife when I've got multi-tools and other things, but anyways, you know what I'm saying, just rambling here. So the other thing to talk about really quickly is, you might have noticed, and I'll probably do a whole separate video on this at some point, we're near the 1,000 subscriber mark now. At the time of filming and probably uploading this morning, I'm just shy by like maybe 10 subscribers at 990. So that's exciting. It's been a year and 3 months, year and 4 months, something along those lines. I started February 1st was the first upload, and I wanted it to take about a year and a half, up to 2 years to get to 1,000. Could have got there quicker if I was more consistent. Last summer, I missed a couple of uploads from work, just didn't prepare in time. Didn't have enough service to upload where I was stuck in the woods. Anyways, here we are about, 16, 15 months later, 1,000 subscribers. Appreciate all of the support, especially from you longtime hog watchers, listeners, viewers. The hog polls in the last few months have been a huge, I'd say a huge success, relatively speaking, small channel and all that. But getting over 100 to 130, 40 votes per week on that, just random knife topics. So you can check that out in the community tab over on the hog YouTube channel. And you'll be able to go catch up on all the polls you've missed. I think we're up to 20, tomorrow will be 24, or maybe 25. So check those out. If you haven't yet, click like on the video. That really does help drive the video up to more people if they are looking for knife content. And I guess, keep an eye out for these videos every week, because for now, I'll be filming them sort of in this condensed locale while I'm just kind of, winging it. I brought a little piece of fabric to film on, and I've got my little tripod here. So I'm gonna do what I can for now. And in the meantime, if you got any cool little video ideas, I've got a few logged that people have been asking for in the comments. But if maybe you mentioned something in the comments a year ago and I've just forgotten about it or forgot to write it down, feel free to let me know down below what kind of videos you'd like to see, especially ones that I can do in this, this one's 15 minutes already, but 5, 10, 15-minute video tabletop like this. Any knives that you want, just an update on how I feel about them. Full reviews will be coming once I get some more time to do that, hopefully on these weekends as they come along. I'll have the freedom and staff won't be badgering us too much, and I'll be able to do some full-scale reviews on, like, say, the paramilitary 2 and some of these knives that I've been using for quite a while and just haven't got around to reviewing, because I do want to get a full year, for the most part, at least, with these knives before I start giving you a full review. So keep an eye out for those. In the meantime, thanks again for your support. Really do appreciate it. Again, subscribe and all that stuff if you want. If you haven't already, hit the like button, because it really is probably the #1 thing that's going to help the channel out. Comment away down below what you think of the paramilitary too, because I am always curious. People love it or hate it. Thanks a lot. Until the next time, this is the Hard On Gear channel, signing off.